We call it people technology.
Well, that was wonderful. If you're a fan of Arshdeep Singh, and you should be a fan of Arshdeep Singh because he does quietly goes about his business and almost always puts in something for the Punjab Kings or the Kings 11 Punjab previously. This is Maruti Suzuki presents ESPN Cricket for T20 timeout. Arshdeep has ended with five after picking up a couple of wickets of the last two balls of that Rajasthan Royals innings, but not before the Royals managed 185. So sets this up nicely on halftime. Sanjay Manjrekar and Dale Steyn. Let's go to the fast bowler first up. He hadn't had a four-wicket haul in T20s before today. Dale and Arshdeep Singh now as a fifer.
Yeah, I was hoping he was going to get that five. I was actually standing. Yeah, I saw both of you guys were online, and I was standing just watching my TVs to make sure that last ball. And I was thinking in the back of my mind, I was thinking, whatever you do, just bowl it full and straight. Just get it on those stumps. If he misses, you hit and bang a fifer. And nothing better than getting a fifer in a T20 game. That's awesome. Well bowled.
Even the great Dale Steyn, after 220 games, didn't manage a fifer in T20 cricket, Sanjay. But it's one of those things. Yeah.
See, people didn't try to slog him too much, so that's why he didn't get wickets towards the end as well.
Yeah, I don't think they're easy to come around, and that's brilliant. Whenever a bowler gets 5 wickets in 4 overs, you know he's done something. He's done something exceptionally well.
Yeah, and there are cheap 5-wicket hauls sometimes in T20s. Andre Russell had one early in the first half of the IPL, but Arshdeep Singh's general contribution, and even today, Sanjay, is he earns his wickets, doesn't he?
See, if I was a Twitter man, I would have tweeted saying that this is this is the best, one of the best 5-wicket hauls that you've seen in the IPL. Because it's against the odds, because the rest of the guys are going to the cleaners. And if not for him, you would have seen Rajasthan Royals go beyond 200. And look at the 3 wickets from the 5. He got 2 towards the end, but 3 when it really mattered. He got Evan Lewis when he was on 25, looking dangerous. He got Livingston on 36.
Yes.
Liam Livingston when he was also waiting to unleash, and then Lomror on 43. So, sort of nipped the thread when it really was going to go out of hand for Punjab Kings. And those were balls, especially to Evan Lewis and Lomror. When a batter is set for a seam bowler to come in at that stage and bowl it up, not Yorkers, but just bowl it up and trust his skills to know that if they take him on, there's a good chance he'll get them out. And that's how he got Evan Lewis out and a well-said Mahipal Lomror. So that was terrific stuff.
Yeah, I like that you bring that up because I'd love to ask Dale too. There are some balls when you bowl them full, you think slot or, you think hittable. But Arshdeep Singh's getting wickets of full balls. You got Livingston of the short one with the great catch of Fabian Allen. But what makes Arshdeep Singh maybe a little more challenging to get away, Dale? Anything you've observed?
Those full balls seem to just rush the batters a little bit more. Like when guys are getting caught at cover, miss just you rushing the batters a little bit more than usual. And I think when he bowls it a little bit shorter, it kind of sits up, it slows down in the deck a little bit, and he's easier to hit. But when he bowls that kind of full, almost slot ball, it just kind of rushes the batters a little bit, and maybe he gets a little bit of bounce. He looks like he's quite tall. Left arm is something different. We don't see a lot of left arm quicks around, and it just makes it a little bit more difficult for the batters to kind of get him away. And you need a bit of luck in this game. I mean, you see Evan Lewis in the beginning there. He nicks one past the slip, it goes for 4. He cuts him, it goes for 4, and then he gets one in the right zone, bang, out. Bowlers need a little bit of luck. It's not always going to be pitch middle, hit topper off, nicking guys off. Sometimes these wickets, we'll take them any way we can get them. So congratulations, well bowled, fiver. Put it in the pocket, get your hat.
Just want to make 2 quick points on Arshdeep. One is he can bowl the Yorker, the proper classical Yorker. We saw that twice or thrice today. So he has that as a weapon. The balls that we are talking about, the one that got Lomror and Evan Lewis out, were deliberate full balls, not him trying to get a Yorker in, because you can see the trajectory when he's bowling the Yorker is slightly different. So he bowled it full with the intention of trying to get a wicket. Now, just let me also get a little deeper into the psyche of a batter when he's batting in that form. He's hitting balls for 6s, he's hitting the other guys the boundary. So he's also expecting this left-arm seamer to come in to bowl some, short balls, slow deliveries, or bowl the perfect Yorkers. A full-length delivery into the slot is something very few bowlers would dare bowl. And Arshdeep today, I thought, did that. It weren't Yorkers that fell slightly short. These were deliberate balls to get wickets. And that shows the level of confidence this man has, the skills that he has. He's got the full range, but he chose to bowl those balls. So there was a lot of thought behind. And I think this one performance just puts him back in the spotlight amongst all the T20 seam options that India has.
Sure. Yeah, it's a good point. Are these fuller balls by seamers perhaps that much harder, Dale, to play on these surfaces in the UAE early on? 8 wickets to the seamers. Mohammad Shami picking up 3-2 of full sort of balls. But is that full ball perhaps more potent here than it would be in Indian surfaces?
I mean, potentially. I mean, when I'm watching the game, I'm thinking you've missed your area. You've missed it by a little bit. So it's not exactly a Yorker and it's not exactly a back of a length. It's kind of like a slot ball. But then when you go and speak to the batters, and I can guarantee you when you speak to the batters in the dressing room, they're going to say there was something different about it. It either just bounced a little bit or it was a little bit rushy on them. Yeah. And it's not quite the same as Mumbai. Like if you're playing in Mumbai or you were playing in Chennai. That at Mumbai, maybe a different story. It might go 20 rows back. But tonight in Dubai, it seemed the more difficult length to get away. And that's sometimes that's just conditions. That's just pitch conditions. And he managed to get the ball in that area enough times that he got a couple of wickets. So sometimes we think it's bad bowling, but the conditions also kind of come into play and make it difficult for the batters to get the ball away.
I think excellent point by Dale about the conditions. And I think that is where I think Arshdeep sussed the conditions out and chose to bowl those balls because they seem to be deliberate and there seem to be a lot of thought behind those. Yeah.
In which case, Sanjay, is this perhaps at halftime? Can we make a judgment call on whether Punjab missed a trick by giving themselves only 12 overs of seam at best? They had to bowl 8 overs of spin. Rajasthan have gone pace heavy in this game.
It didn't have to.
All right, we're going to get Sanjay back in just a second. Let me put the same question to Dale Steyn.
Formula. I mean, a formula that
we've got
see
Sanjay
two
back.
left-handers or left-hander out there, you dish out an off-spinner. Now, the off-spinner works when you're sort of giving the left-hand batter something against the angle if the ball is turning.
Okay. But Sanjay, can you hear me? We lost you for a bit and now we can hear you, but we can't see you. So Sanjay's going to be back. We're going to try and repackage that answer and have another crack at it. But let me go to Dale Steyn because Rashid didn't look the threat. Dale, Deepak Hooda was taken apart as well. Does it look like Punjab missed a trick here?
Just a little bit. I think they were expecting a little bit more from Rashid. Especially Rashid. He's the international guy. He's been around. He's a bit of mystery about him, leg spinner. And he just bowled too short tonight. Kind of sat up and the batters got the better of him. They did look to take him on. As soon as the spinners came on, you can see all of the batters, their eyes lit up and they knew they're going to take these guys on tonight. That's also an intent. So that's been spoken about in the dressing room. The captain and the coach have obviously said, the moment the spinners come on, boys, we don't let these guys settle into a length and bowl to us. We're going to take them down tonight. And every single batter that batted tonight, you can see there was an intent with taking on these guys, not just singles, but actually hitting sixes. They were hitting sixes. They were going miles over those ropes. So there was an intent in actually scoring, whereas sometimes there's this intent of survival and just getting what we can. But tonight they were looking to take them on.
Sanjay, we can get you back now. We lost you technically.
Yeah, I just want to tell our producer that if he doesn't like my views, it's okay to tell me in the ear, but it's a bit rude to just cut me off. And
this is the one platform which will not cut you off for your views, Sanjay Manjrekar. Now, please.
Oh dear.
If you'd like to have a crack, I think you might have forgot the original question now on that humor. So let's go back to it. It looked like the spinners were easier to take on. Punjab bowling just the 12. They had only the 12 overs of seam. They didn't even bowl Fabian Allen. Rajasthan have more seam. Dale talking about how there was an intent clearly to take on the spinners from Rajasthan's batters. What did you make of that? The way Rashid and Deepak Hooda bowled?
Yeah, it was wrong. As I was beginning to say, it was wrong to bowl Hooda just because he's an off-spinner, because he was bowling nothing like an off-spinner. He wasn't bowling the off-spin, which was going to take the ball away from the left-hander, so it was going to be easy to hit. So it's the quality of bowler as well. And you saw Jaiswal was taken out by a left-arm spinner. So you've just got to have quality bowlers bowling. So this mental block that a lot of captains have the moment they see a left-hander to bring an off-spinner, doesn't make sense. And quickly on Adil Rashid, I think Adil Rashid has a challenge here in the IPL. He has to keep proving that he's going to be a better option than a Bishnoi and an Ashwin to keep getting picked by Punjab Kings. I think there is a serious competition there for that slot.
Yeah, not to mention he holds up an overseas spot, which perhaps they could have used differently, the Punjab Kings. But yeah, Harpreet Brar bowled three pretty tidy overs, got the wicket of Jaiswal too. At times, perhaps these matchups make dictate terms. But let's talk about the Yashasvi Jaiswal innings. Looked good until he got close to 50, Sanjay.
Yes, and you can see this is another young player, and Dale also would be interested to know that this is an under 19 product who start off, the cricket in very traditional fashion, classical play. I was just looking at his under 19 innings. He had the drive, he had the pull and the cut and stuff, but today you saw some T20 shots coming into play. So this guy also a bit like Shubman Gill the other day, trying to embrace the T20 batsmanship. Hopefully that shouldn't affect his other format batting too much. But I thought he was okay. Yashasvi Jaiswal, he's still a product that's not finished yet. I thought he did really well and loved the attitude that he kept right through.
Yeah, Maipal Lomror was the other one that had an impact in this innings, but all those boundaries, Dale, came off spin. Again, perhaps a trick miss. Some of these young Indian batters who don't mind having a slog at the spin, but the minute the seamers came on, it was much more challenging.
Yeah, the seamers looked to hit that length a little bit harder. Although I was a bit worried about the way Shami started. I thought the first over he might run in and just bowl good test lengths, but immediately he came around the wickets. He bowled a couple slower balls, and I was sitting here with my girlfriend, and I was like, oh, I don't know what he's thinking. Watching the game from the other night, I thought you just run in and you just bowl hard length, you might find the edge. But the seamers definitely dragged it back. The spinners had a hard time tonight. It looked like those batters came out with intent to take them on, and a lot of boundaries came off the spinners tonight.
So then let's try and make sense of 185. Sanjay, we're just trying to discuss it before we went on air too. Is this an above par score, one that will take Punjab, to really bat out of their skins to get, or is it the kind of score that they should get anyway?
3 points, and one is that you mentioned before we went on air is a lot of the runs that came today for Rajasthan were against spinners, and you see Rajasthan may not bowl as much spin, so that is one thing. 185 certainly with the kind of matches that we've seen on this ground looks over par, but you also get the feeling that maybe today the batting conditions might be a little better, and when you look at the top 5 of Punjab Kings, there's a lot of class there, and if people like Puran and all these guys get going, Adil Rashid as a batter down the order might prove to be handy, but that's what when you look at that Punjab playing 11, I think they went a bit too spin heavy. The selection was interesting. I love the batting selection. The bowling selection that they made for the playing 11 today, didn't understand that.
And looking at how the seamers of Punjab bowled, Dale, Rajasthan have Morris, they've got Tyagi, there's a lot of pace there, then they've got Mustafizur and Sakaria who impressed in the first leg. Is this going to be a stiff chase, a tough chase?
It's probably above the average. I mean, we've seen pretty low scores so far, but that batting lineup is long. If you've got Adil Rashid batting way back there at the bottom half of the batting lineup, that's a good batting lineup. So I think it's going to be a good game. And so far, it just feels like both teams were kind of sparring at each other. There was some good cricket, but there was also some dodgy cricket. At some point, some real drag downs and some half volleys that could have been hit for sixes that were caught in the boundary. That kind of thing. So I think both teams are kind of just sparring it out. The second innings is going to be a big telling factor about how the game actually goes. But the wicket itself looks really good. It looks like it's a good batting wicket. And if Kings get going with that batting lineup, it looks like a score that they can chase down.
Is that not just a definition of T20 franchise cricket around the world, Hale, what you've just told me?
Pretty much. Yeah, but I think just in the start of this tournament right now, everybody hasn't had much cricket going on right now. So I think everyone's kind of finding their feet and everything. But yeah, we'll see. I think Kings can knock this down.
Right. We're watching Rahul and Mayank come out. I just wanted to make sure it was Rahul and Mayank and not Aiden Markram coming up open with Mayank slotted at number 3. This makes full sense to you, Sanjay? Rahul and Mayank, the strength of Punjab lies in them coming out and opening together.
Yes, I've seen Markram bat at the top of the order. I mean, he opens the innings, but I don't know when he plays T20 cricket locally, what number he bats. I would have thought maybe Markram, to just make his life easier, could have opened, because we've seen Mayank Agarwal bat on occasion at number 3. But I mean, this is a phenomenally successful opening partnership. So they haven't looked to tamper with that too much, but it will test Markram at number 3.
I was just trying to look into our Ask Cricinfo plug and see how Aiden Markram has done at number 3. I won't give you the answer. Why don't you head there and have a look? But makes a difference, Dale? Aiden Markram, the opener, versus Aiden Markram 3 can still sort of fit in?
I think he can still fit in. I mean, I agree with Sanjay. I would have opened the batting with him, given a little bit more experienced role to maybe KL or somebody to go in at number 3. I do like that they're opening with KL and Agarwal. That's they tested and tried out opening pair. But Markram at 3 is going to be a test for him. It's not a position that he's familiar batting with, and it's also a position that you kind of have to build an innings. And a lot of people bank on you being the best batter. Often comes in at 3. So it's one of those positions that's a little bit up in the air for him. But it would have been nice to see him open the batting tonight.
Well, he's got a lot more runs opening the batting in T20 cricket than at 3. If you want the numbers, you know where to go. Just head over to Ask Cricinfo. Right, Sanjay, Dale, let's pick up this chat. This should be a pretty good game. Now 180 plus chase, even if Punjab get close, should make for a great conversation on Maruti Suzuki presents ESPN Cricinfo T20 timeout. Remember, big game. This 2 points sends the winning side level with the Mumbai Indians at 8. So let's see how things go. And of course, there was bound to be a conversation now KL Rahul bats, which we will have at the end of the game. Join us then on Maruti Suzuki Presents ESPN Cricinfo T20 timeout.
We call it people technology.